Nomad, ye shall pass all round with Bilbo Waggins.
Hey guys, Vince the Nomad, back again. So today we're going to talk about Mount Ashland and Medford, Oregon. So after Seaside, I was driving, I stopped at a rest stop, and it was kind of cool at this rest stop. Whenever I get out somewhere and I walk around with Bilbo Waggins, I'm always looking for anything to forage. I may not get it, but I'm trying to learn so that no matter where I go, I can visually identify plants that are edible. It seems like pretty much all over the West Coast so far, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, California, Nevada. Anyway, up to there so far, a lot of similar plants. So I stopped at this one rest stop, and I found a ton of wild carrots, and I'll include a picture here. So anyway, while I was at this rest stop and Bilbo Waggins was taking care of his bodily fluids business, I got a notification on Expedia, and I'm like, Expedia? I don't need Expedia right now. I used to stay in hotels. And I was like, yeah, I did. I stayed in a lot of hotels. So last I checked, I was a gold member. Not like Austin Powers, but anyway, so I checked the app. Turns out I had a ton of points. I was like, So I looked, and the next town that was a decent sized city was Medford, Oregon. And so I looked. Turns out I could get a room a night at the Motel 6 for free. It didn't cost me a dime. And hey, I'm all about free. Free is awesome, right? And I thought, man, I could take a shower. I could take a bath. I haven't had a bath in forever. So I was excited to get a bath. And so I booked this Motel 6. So got to the Motel 6, and I was honestly really surprised. It was packed. I was like, what's going on? So when I checked in, I was like, is there some kind of big event going on or something? And they're like, oh yeah, that track and field world event thing. And I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. Because I'm always listening to NPR when I'm driving or anything like that, because it's interesting. I really love that channel or station or whatever. I'm not plugging them. They're not paying me. I do. It's pretty much all I listen to, actually. Just because mostly anywhere you go, it's one of the stations that does come in. They have a lot of stations, and it's kind of my way of getting news without having to read a bunch of stuff. Anyway, I think it was like when I was in Seaside, I had heard this whole program about how big of a deal it was. In I think it's Eugene, which I was close to, that the World Track and Field event was going to be there, and then all of a sudden, weeks later, here I am. I was actually there. I didn't even plan it. So anyway, it was packed, and Motel 6 is pretty much the bottom of the barrel when it comes to hotels, and I knew that, but, I'm like, what, I don't care. I'm not looking for amenities. Living like I do, a room with air conditioning and running water and cable is pretty pampering. So, but yeah, this Motel 6 the room was decent-ish, but here's a couple pictures. So one thing was cool was, besides getting the shower, I had a bunch of laundry, and so I was like, oh, this is perfect, And so got all my laundry together, went to the laundry room, which, by the way, it was probably like 90, 95, 98 outside. And in their laundry room, they didn't have any air conditioning. They didn't even have a window that opened. And it was hot as hell in there. So anyway, I put my stuff in the washer, and then when I came back to put the stuff in the dryer, there was this young man there. I don't know, he couldn't have been more than like 21, 22. I don't know. Ever since I passed 40, it's hard for me to tell. I can't even tell the difference between a teenager and a 25-year-old, I swear. But anyway, he was somewhere in there. And he didn't speak he spoke English, but he didn't speak very well. He didn't speak English very well. And he had a handful of a bunch of American change, quarters, nickels, dimes, pennies. And he's looking at the washing machine, just looking completely perplexed. And I was like, this guy needs some help. Here comes Vince to the rescue. Just kidding. But no, I like helping people, and especially people with accents and foreigners, because it's like, I want them, maybe it's their first time being to America. I want them to think Americans are nice, which is probably kind of cruel, because a lot of us probably aren't. Anyway, so I asked him, I was like, do you need some help, man? And he's like, oh yeah, whatever accent. I'm not going to try and do his accent, but he was looking at his handful of change, and he didn't know what was a quarter, a nickel, a dime, or a penny. He's like, it says 25 cents. I don't know. I suck at this accent. That's what I said. I'm not even trying. Anyway, I explained to him, and he didn't actually have enough change. And I was like, don't worry about it. Wait right here. I'll be right back. And so I went back to my room, and I thought, I want to give this young man a souvenir. I want him to remember Vince, the Nomad, even though I don't think I told him my name. But I wanted him to remember this one nice encounter, whatever else happens to him in America or whatever. So I grabbed a 1940, I think it was a 1941 Walking Liberty $50. That's silver. And I went in there and I gave him a handful of quarters, and he offered me cash, and I was like, no, please, just take it. Just do your laundry, And I was like, I have something else for you. And he's like, huh? And I gave the coin to him, and he's like, oh, it's big, it's heavy. And I was like, yeah, it's because don't spend it. And I tried to explain to him, I was like, it's special. It's special. It's old, like really old, older than me. And he's like, oh, so it's important. And I was like, yes, and I want you to have it. I want you to remember that there's nice people here. And so, anyway, that was a cool experience, and I hope I left an impact on him. So anyway, after that, I was waiting to get all my chores done because I knew I was going to be sweating to death, and I wanted that shower to count. And the thousands of hotels and motels and inns and whatevers that I've stayed in my entire life, literally thousands, I've never been in a room that only had a shower. Like, I've been in rooms that had just a bath. I've never been in a room that just had a shower. So I was really bummed because I really wanted to take a bath, just like lay down and soak and, I don't know, make a bubble bath, poke my toes through the bubbles. Anyway, it only had a shower. So I got a good shower in, got a good thorough shower, and guess who else got one?
Yeah, we both got a bath, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Bubbles. Bubbles. Did you get a bath? Did you get a bath, buddy? Give a bath. You got a bath.
I looked on my little app. I have this app called Campendium. It's supposed to help you find places. And I found this place called Now Ashland. Everyone was talking about how beautiful it was, that there was only a few spots, but typically they were completely open. Hardly anybody goes up there because it's a really steep mountain. So anyway, I headed that way, and everything was going great. Trailer's doing fine, truck's doing fine, I'm doing fine, Bilbo's is doing fine. And so we start heading up the trail, and it gets steeper and steeper and steeper, and I'm like, okay. And then it says ski area. I'm like, okay, well, surely we're at the top. No. So I keep going. Still haven't seen any campsites. Okay, still haven't seen any campsites. Finally, probably about, 45 minutes up the mountain, I finally see some camp spots. But there's people in them. So I was like, okay. And I saw this one that was over further south, and I thought about going to that one. Then I saw people there, and I was like, damn it. So I saw a spot to turn around. I turned around and I asked these people that were on the corner camping spot, and she's like, "Oh, have you gone up that fork in the road up there?" And I hadn't gone up that fork in the road because it was like really steep, and I was like, I don't really want to go up there, but she's like, "Well, there's a really nice spot up there. I highly recommend it." And I was like, okay, you know, I try to trust people. And so I headed that way, and so I don't know if you know, I have a 2012 Ford F-150. I'm not spitting, I'm having a drink of wine. Box wine, because I'm classy. So anyway, I have a 2012 Ford F-150, 4x4, and my 20-foot 1970 kit companion travel trailer. I don't know if you know this, but Ford F-150s are notorious for having horrible turn radius. So I had to pretty much go out almost to the bottom of the mountain again to turn around to go up this fork. I was determined. It was it wasn't earlier in the day. It was early enough to me. It was probably late afternoon, early evening. So then I go up, and then this time I'm like, okay, there's the fork. I go up the fork. Now, mind you, I want to bring up something here. Doing all this going back and forth trying to find a spot, there were various people going on hikes. You know, I don't know where they'd parked, but there was people hiking, and there was this one particular couple. I think they're a couple. It was a man and a woman. I'm not going to assume. And I had passed them twice already, and just not on purpose. It was just they happened to be where I was going by. And I did notice the second time he was kind of mean mugging me, and I'm like, geez, what's his problem? You know, I'm just trying to find a place to camp for the night with my travel trailer. So anyway, I'm going up that fork, trying to get up to the top or whatever, to that spot, and I gotta pass this couple again. I'm like, oh man, this is super awkward. He already looked irritated. What's gonna happen now? And I was like, well, I'll just try and break the ice, you know. So just as I was getting close, I was gonna say something like, you know, hey, sorry, I'm just passing through or whatever. But just as I went to say something, he like throws his hands in the air and he's like, what the fuck is your problem? And I was just like, wow. And I'll be honest, like, part of me, I mean, I don't know if you know, but I have done some cage fights, and I've trained and everything, and I know I could have taken him, and part of me wanted to, and I was like, no, take the high road. You know, when they go low, we go high. And so anyway, I was just like, whatever, just ignore that dude. Let's just find this place to park and get it over with. Okay, so we stayed the night there on top of Mount Ashland, like literally. There was like one of those huge, like weird round, like satellite looking things. And I got some pictures here that'll show you. I mean, you could see, you know, that saying, as far as the eye can see. Sometimes you think about sayings and they're kind of stupid. As far as the eye can see. Well, for one, that depends on your vision, right? Not everybody has good vision. That could be very close. That could be across the street. You're really visually impaired. Anyway, so the viewpoint from where I was, you could see really far. I'm not going to even try and guess how far, but I was at the top of the mountain. Beautiful sunset and everything. So I'd done a little bit of research, you know, and I was like, okay, there's this place called Scott Mountain Campground. It looks pretty good, looks pretty cool. So I was like, it's a couple hours drive. Let's head, not too far. I didn't want to drive really far. I try to keep my driving periods kind of, I don't know, down to 3 or 4 hours. Doesn't usually end up being that, but that's what I usually plan for. So anyway, so we get to the top of the pass, and just as we're at the top of the pass, I hear a loud explosion. Turns out a tire on the trailer had exploded. It died. And so I pulled over slowly, and thankfully there was a lot of places to pull over because it's a really steep mountain and a lot of semis overheat. So there's all these semis pulled over. There's tons of space. So I pulled over, and from experience, from last time when the brakes locked up, I knew I could drop the trailer. I wasn't stuck, so I didn't stay there. But it was cool enough because of the high elevation that I was able to leave Bilbo in the trailer, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to go back down to the previous town in Oregon and try and get a tire for the truck, or for the trailer. In order to do that, though, I had to keep going into California about 20 miles, turn around, and then head back to the town of Ashland, which is what I did. And I was like, all right, I know where I'm going. Boom, going to Les Schwab. I get to Les Schwab, and they're like, yeah, can I help you? I was like, yeah, so I blew this tire on my travel trailer up on the pass. And they're like, oh, okay, do you have it with you? And I was like, yeah, didn't think of that. Stupid. Oh, man, you think you learn and you're making right decisions and stuff, and then you realize you did something stupid, and you're just like, oh my God. The hell was I thinking? What are they going to do? What are they going to give me a tire, and I'm just going to magically figure out how to mount a tire onto a rim on a mountain pass without any equipment? Stupid. Anyway, so guess what? I had to go back up to the mountain pass, take off the tire, double down into California, come back into Oregon, go to Les Schwab, wait a couple hours because apparently it was peak season apparently for tires, I guess. And anyway, so I finally got the tire fixed and got it back on the trailer, and then everything was good to go. Me and Bilbo Waggins, we got back on the saddle. We headed for Scott Mountain Campground, which I'll tell you about in upcoming videos. Scott Mountain area is a place that I stayed for the longest I've stayed anywhere, actually, up until now. So I'm going to be breaking that up into quite a few videos because we had a lot of adventures and a lot of good stuff. My goal too, by the way, is I'm hoping to not have to do these videos retroactively eventually. I want to get everything caught up and then be posting videos like within a day or so of everything happening to keep you guys more up to date. So yeah, I'll leave you with this one little travel tip, and this doesn't matter if you're boondocking, nomadic, or whatever. So say you're traveling, you're not home in your town. Even if you're in your town, you're not close to home, you got to use the bathroom. It's urgent. Maybe you have IBS, right? There's all these places that say no public restrooms. Might as well say no dogs allowed, and no people that poop allowed. Here's the tip. Hotels. Yes, hotels. Here's the thing. I have never been in a hotel that didn't have bathrooms right around the corner from the front desk. So, here's what you do. Take out your phone, walk in the hotel confidently like you already have a room. Just go, you're on your phone, just walking past the front desk, get to that hallway that's in every hotel. There's a little sign that says restrooms. There you go. Boom. It's also going to be nicer than any truck stop or any other gas station restroom. You're welcome. Thank me later.